You are welcome to Sachino's YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing about an interesting aspect of mathematics called decimals. So what is actually decimal? Well, decimal is a sign we use in mathematics to separate a whole number part from the fractional part. So that's what we call a decimal. Now let me put down this statement into writing before we proceed. So let's go. I will say that this is used to separate a whole number part from the fractional part. So now let's give a typical example, like let me say we have 731.245. Okay, so actually this 731 represents the whole number part. While the 245 here represents the fractional part. We call it the fractional part, and it's usually less than 1. Okay, so but without wasting much time today, let's go into this term. We call it place value. So let's go. I will say place value. Okay, so what is actually this term, place value? Well, place value, this refers to the value of each digit in a decimal number. So that is what we actually call a place value. Now let me also put that statement into writing on the other side of the board. Let's go. So I will say that this refers to the value of each digit in a decimal number. So that's what we call a place value. So let me use a typical example like this. Let me just say 178.496. So actually this one here represents the 100. We call it the 100. Okay, look at the spelling very well. The 7 there represents the tens, while the 8 represents the units. We call it the unit. Okay, the 4 here represents the tenth. Now watch the spelling. That's what the 4 represents. While the 9 represents the 100th. Let me put this into writing. 100th. Then the 6 represents, we call it the 1000th. Okay, so that is actually what each value represents. So therefore, let's go. Therefore, in the number 178.496, the value of the digit or let me say the value of each digit is, okay, the one there, 1, we call it 100. 100. So I can write it like this. So let's go. The 7 is 7 tens. So the word tens means 10. That's 7 times 10. We have it to be 70. The 8, we call it 8 units. So it means 8 times 1. Unit means 1. So 8 times 1 is 8. Okay, so let's go to the next value, which is 4. So it is 4 tenths. 4 tenths. So it means 4 to divide this time around by 10. So that's 9 in that value represent 900. So which is actually 9 to divide 100. Then we have 6,000. So which is the same thing as 6 all over 1,000. Okay, actually we are through with that. So now let us solve some examples. So I want us to write the following in decimal numbers. Let's go. So let me see, write the following in decimal numbers. Okay, let's start with A, the first one, 9 tenths. The B question, 15 hundredths. The C question, 146 thousandths. Okay, so actually solution, the first one, which is 9 tenths. So that means 9 divided by 10, and that answer is 0.9. It is 0.9. So let's move on to the second one. So the number 2 question, which is the B, we have 15 hundredths. So it means 15 to divide 100. So which is also the same thing. As you can see, we have two zeros here. So we are going to roll the decimal point twice from here. 1, 2. So the decimal point will be in front of this one. So let's move on. So we have it to be 0.15. Okay, so we are through with that one. Let's go to the C part of the question. So which is 146,000. So it means 146 to divide 1,000. So what do you have here? So you can see we have 3 zeros this time around. So we roll the decimal point 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So we'll put the decimal point here. So actually the result will become 0.146. Okay, so that is the answer to that question. So I would like us to solve this question again. Let's say we are given, give the place value, of the underlying digit. Okay, in the following numbers. Okay, so let me write it out. The first question here, A. So let's say we have 45.9. So this time around, I'm underlining the value 4. Let me underline 4. So the answer there will be, therefore, will be 4 tenths. So don't forget, this is unit, while this one is the tenths. Then the B part, okay, let me just write 35 and let me underline this 5. So the answer to this one, that 5 represents 5 units. 5 units. Now let's go. The next one, C. We have 0.257. So let me underline 7. So the answer to this question here will be 7 down. This is, don't forget, this is tens. This is 100. While this one here is 1,000. So it's going to be 7,000. Okay, so let's go to the D part of the question. We have 23 points, let me see, 894. Here, this time around, I want to underline 9. So the answer to this one here will be, that will be 900. Don't forget to put the TH. Okay, so the E part of the question, let's say we are given 10.056. So here I want to underline 0. Let me underline 0. So the answer to this one will be 0 tenths. Okay, so we have come to the end of this part. So let's move on to how to convert decimal fraction to fraction. So let's move on to the other side of the board. So I will say converting decimals to fractions. Okay, so let me write it out and underline it. So this time around, to change a decimal into fraction, we must count the digits after the decimal point, then divide by the appropriate power of 10. That is 10, 100, 1,000, and so on and so forth. So now, let me just go straight into question solving. So I will just say write as fraction. Write as fraction in simplest form. Okay, so let me write out the question first. I will say the first one 0.8. Okay, let me bring the second one, let me say 0.4. The third one, we have 3.88. The fourth one, we have 0.375. While the fifth one, okay, let me say it is 0.067. So let's take it one after the other. So the first question, which is 0.8. So how do we analyze this? So don't forget, if I'm to take them to what now? to fraction, the decimal point here represents 1, while the number after that decimal point will represent 0. So definitely I'm going to write this one as 8 all over the 1 and 0. So I notice here now that 2 can divide. 2 goes in 8, we have it to be 4. 2 goes in 10, we have it to be 5. So our final answer to this question here will be 4 over 5. So we are through with that. So let's pick up the second question. Oh, we are given 0.4. So I notice this one is just very close to this 0.8 that we just finished solving. Okay, so we'll still perform the same experiment. So this actually 4 over, then the decimal point represents 1 and the 4 represents 0. So in that case, again, something can divide. 2 goes in 4, we have it to be 2. 2 goes in 10, we have it to be 5. So our answer here this time around, 0.4, is the same thing as 2 over 5 in fraction. And that is the answer to that question. So now let's move on to the third question, which is 3.88. Let's go. So let's say we are given 3 points, which is the C part, 3.88. So I can definitely write this one as 388 divided by the decimal point there represents 1. The 8 there represents 0. The other 8 now represents 0. So we have it to be 388 to divide 100. So I notice here now that 4 can divide the numerator and can also divide the denominator. So 4 goes here and we have it to be 97. Okay, 4 goes in 100, we have it to be 25. Okay, so our result here now becomes 97 all over 25. So 97 all over 25 into mixed number. Let's convert it to mixed number. What do we have? How many 25 can we see in 97? I think we are going to have 3. Okay, 3, which is actually 75. So remainder 22. So we have 22 all over that same 25. And that is the answer to that question. But if you don't want to pass through this this way, you can decide to do it also like this. So let me just write all. So let's say we have 3.88. So we can just say, just write the 3 down, then plus, this is 0.88 simply means 88 to divide 100. So don't forget the decimal points represent 1, the 8, 0, and the other 8, 0. So I notice here now that something can still divide. So what can divide? Let's say 4. 4 can divide 88. We have it to be 22. 4 can divide 100. We have it to be 25. So our result now becomes 3, then plus 22 over 25. So 22 over 25, we can still join them together. The 3 and the 22 over 25, we still have it to be 3 number, 22 over 25. And that is the answer to that question. Now let's move on to the D part of the question. So let's say we are given 0.375. Okay, so how do we solve this? Let's go on. Okay, in that case, let me divide my board. 375 to divide 1000. So what will we have now? What can we use to divide? So I noticed that 25 can divide. So let me try using 25 to divide. So we have it like 25 goes here. Okay, and we have it to be 15. 25 goes in 1000. I think I'm going to have 40. So I notice here also that something can still divide. Okay, now let me try 5. 5 can divide 15. We have it to be 3. 5 can divide 40. We have it to be 8. Okay, so finally the answer will become 3 all over 8. And we have come to the end of that question. So now let's go to the last part of the question. Let's say we are given 0.067. So this is actually 67 divided by 1000. Don't forget that the decimal point here represents 1. So I'm going to have it to be 67. The decimal point 1, the 0 0, the 6, 0, the 7, 0. So I notice that nothing can divide this, so I'm going to leave my answer like that. So we have come to the end of today's class. Now please, let's go into the assignment for this class. So let's go. Let me write out the assignment. So assignment goes like this. Please make sure you solve and send your answers to me in the comment section. So let me write it out. Assignment, change. The first one. Change the decimals. Change the decimals into fraction. So the first question, okay, let me say 0.025. The second question, let me say 2.050. The third question, 8.75. Okay, let me add one more to it, 0.82. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. Okay, so let us help me to arrange this. Arrange the following. Arrange the following in order of size starting. Let me shift my body a bit. Starting with the largest. Starting with the largest. So let me start with this decimal value. This actually $68.70. We have another one, $68.75. We have another one. Let me move up. We have $6.69. And let me write the last one here, which is $68.69. Let me write it here. $68.69. So the second question here, let's see, I want you to arrange these numbers also in order, but make sure you start from the largest. So we have 7.56 meters. We have 7.44 meters. We have 7.65 meters. And the last one, let me say 7.50 meters. Okay, so let's go to the last question. So the C part of the question. So I want you to give the place value of these numbers. Give the place value of the underlined digits in the following numbers. Okay, so the first question here, okay, let me see, this is 32.5. So I'm going to underline 2. So the B part, let's see, we have 45.7. Let me underline 4. The C part of the question, let me see, 34.8. I want you to underline, let me underline 8. That's the C part. Let's go to the D part of the question. let's say we are given 762.467. This time around, I want to underline 6. Then the E part of the question, let's say we have 1.00782. Here I want to underline this 0. Okay, the last question for today's class, we have F, which is 7.071. Here I'm underlining 1. So we have come to the end of today's class. Please share and make sure you subscribe immediately after watching this video. Thank you very much. We meet in the next video.